Good morning, everyone. It's about 9 o'clock in the morning, and I've just come down the driveway with Jack, mainly just to throw some bird seed around. Let me just transfer this to the other hand. Good morning, Rob and Sean. See, the guys are up early, or up late, one or the other. So, the first frost has happened, and it is bitterly, bitterly cold. Look, I've got my thick felt gloves on. Early. I think you're cheating there, Rob. I think you're up late. Good morning, Kay. Look, I've got my coffee here in the wheelbarrow. Let me just lift it out carefully. Don't want to spill it. So the first frost, and of course this bears out. I went back to bed early of the cold. Of course, yeah, it's this Canadian winter's very cold out there. I've been there once during a Canadian winter, and brrr, it was cold. Mind you, I don't mind the cold. It's the heat I don't like. I don't like anything that, hot summers and stuff. So I was up at about 7:30 and I peeked out the window and I could see this beautiful dragon's breath all over the valley. Forget it. Do you know, I never say never. I've learnt, you see, this is the wisdom of the years, Rob. I've learnt over the years never to say never, okay? Because there's all kinds of things happen in one's life, and you should always just be open to them anyway, uninhabitable period. Anyway, there's the frost on the field next door, and as you can see from here, there's virtually no frost here in the gardens, in the woodland gardens, because trees don't just protect you during the summer from extreme heat, they protect you during the winter from the ravages of the weather, the worst of the weather. So it's very hard for the frost to get down through the air and through the trees and onto the land here. So you can also see from yesterday, I dug out more of the pond. So I dug out this area along here. So I'm continuing to backfill the dam, so to speak, for want of a better word. And you can see now the height of the water over there, and this little bit here is slowly being filled in. I am uninvincible. Yes. Do you know, I go to bed at night thinking with joy in my heart of the coffee I'm going to have in the morning. And although I often say, oh, I'll have a second cup of coffee, usually it's just the 1 cup of coffee per day, and I really enjoy it. So, so there's the sun now peeking out. That's what I love to see there. And the sun on the trunks of trees, and this is just a little tree. Well, it's not so little now. It's growing right up through the goat willow. And still lots of lovely colours here. Well, Sean, that's your choice, and it ain't good for you. Excess of anything is not good. Everything in moderation. Now look at the colours there in the field over there. You've got the lovely white of the frost. Yeah, Jack's always waiting for a car. He lives in hope. Yeah, the colours are stunning, Jules. They really are. Oh, my fingertips are just frozen. No, I don't really like decaf coffee because I have the I get the beans and I grind them myself, and I really like a good strong cup of coffee, and I enjoy it. And there you go, everything in moderation. Look at that. Do you know these crisp, clear mornings are they're just delightful. A few leaves up there on the little birch tree, and there's some spruce trees. Yeah, I would say the same here, Lorraine, because what frost is about really is a clear sky. And when you have a clear sky, of course, you know, you have bitterly cold. Let me just see if I can turn, I don't want to, let me just, that's it. Trying to switch hands while holding a cup of coffee. There we go. I think that's it. Okay, so I've got my right hand free now. I'm just warming my fingertips on the coffee cup. Yeah, my son is out in Canada, and he sent a picture to me the other morning. Just from his front window, there was snow. There was actually loads of, well, not loads of snow, but it was a pretty good covering of snow. And he's north of Toronto. I suppose about an hour's drive north of Toronto. Okay, Rob, but you are living there. I suppose, look, do you know something? I think that habitation is very much a case of human construct. It's like when you, God, so no Australia. Oh, Australia's up in flames at the moment. Up in flames. I was watching a couple of little news reports on YouTube, and Queensland, New South Wales. Look at the wee bird there, there's a wee robin. Queensland and New South Wales is absolutely ablaze. Ablaze. And then I'm sort of open-mouthed and aghast when I hear that they're growing cotton in Australia. Cotton requires a lot of water, doesn't it? Or does it? And cattle farming. Well, you know, it takes 1,000 litres of water to make 1 litre of milk. So, I don't know. I just think that there's a huge amount of madness that all has to settle down. If we're going to live on this beautiful earth, we really have to be practical, you know? And practical means creating a decent habitat. And a habitat, you see, look, I'm going off into a rant now. Look, you've got me started on a rant. I may as well just go on with it now. Right. When you're creating, stop it. When you're trying to create a habitat, you've got to think in very practical terms, okay? So you want, like living here in Ireland where it rains, you want to have dry areas, you want to have good drainage, You want to have warmth to counteract the damp. So trees are absolutely perfect to start with. Hard landscaping that can draw the water away and safely into the rivers. Lots and lots of gravel, so a gravel driveway which is continually draining. If I was to put a tarmac down here, which I couldn't afford anyway, but if I was to put a tarmac driveway down here, the water would run off it. I have a gravel driveway, so the water drains through it, right? I have two little verandas at the back of the cottage, one at the back of the cottage and one on the little lodge. They're just covered verandas, dry areas, away from the rain, you see. I have a wood-burning stove in the lodge, so as I can actually keep warm using very, very little energy. It only takes a little bit of wood and that stove is toasting and I don't have to use anything else. So if I have to, I only have to keep the lodge warm. And of course, those of you who know me know that I don't eat meat, I don't eat fish, and I have nothing to do with dairy. The reason why I don't eat meat is because I'm much healthier without it. I don't have a problem with cholesterol anymore, and I don't have a problem with high blood pressure. Because at the end of the day, what I eat goes through me in 24 hours. If you eat meat, it takes 3 days for your body to process it, which means, which means that your body is under pressure. So, and as for dairy, well, I've nothing to do with dairy because I was raised on dairy and I was, always had dairy products, and I always suffered from terrible phlegm. What would you call it? My father used to call it catarrh, but mucus, I suppose, round the throat. And yeah, mucus, thanks Rob. And I no longer have that problem. I no longer have that problem. I used to get up almost every morning of my life and have to cough out a huge amount of phlegm. That's since I became plant-based or vegan, I don't have that problem. So, habitation is all about being practical and being resourceful and kind of owning your lifestyle. They reckon now that most of the health problems that are afflicting people in the Western world are all lifestyle health problems. You see? Well, people need to own their lifestyles. Instead of running to the doctor because, I've got this high blood pressure. Okay, never mind the fact that I could be 2 or 3 stone overweight, or never mind the fact that I'm eating the wrong food or whatever. You have to own everything in your life first. And then, if things are progressively getting worse, seek help. But I think that's the problem. That's the main problem now in the Western world. And over the past, maybe 30 or 40 years, you have people who want to, what's the word I'm looking for? Almost offshore their problems. In the same way as you offshore banking, to kind of hide things. That they think that going to the doctors to get more prescription drugs are going to solve the problems. How do I keep the weeds down in the driveway? Where? What part of the driveway? When you drive a car up and down a driveway, you don't have weeds in the middle of it. And on the sides, well, where can the weeds grow on the sides? Because I've got everything else growing, you see. If you have a big space and you have weeds, then you have to plant the space and then you don't have the weeds. No weeds, just grass. Yeah, and that grass is mown with a push mower, during the summer about once every couple of weeks, that's all. That's all it needs. I'm asked a lot about weeds here at Bealtaine Cottage. Well, if you can show me where the space for the weeds are, because I can't see any space for weeds. You know the bumper sticker that's on the website, plant like your life depends upon it, for it does? That's exactly what I do. I plant, you see? And when you plant and plant and plant, where do the weeds fit in? You know, there's a huge problem out in Achill Island now because you've got this. I'll just show you. I'll show you what's out in Achill Island, the west of Ireland. This here, it's called Gunera manicata. You see these huge leaves, all right? Now, the Gunera manicata is taking over Achill Island, and everyone said, oh, it's terrible, it's invasive. Oh, this is dreadful, it's invading. No wonder it's invading. Do you know the only other thing out in Achill Island besides a few people? Sheep. And the sheep don't eat this. Now this Gunera manicata, I planted that there 15 years ago. There's the crown of it there, look. See the crown? That's dying back. That's why the leaves have flopped out, because it's dying back now. Has it spread in 15 years? No. Why? Because I planted around it. Because I planted trees and shrubs and everything else. You see? So where can it spread to? A plant is only invasive if it has somewhere to invade. And if it has somewhere to invade, it means the humans who own the landscape haven't planted anything else. Shame on them. Plant. If weeds can grow, then you can put plants in that will grow as well. And you can put ground cover plants. I mean, look at this ground cover here that I have on this little stretch. It's called rubus. No, I've had no formal education in plant life. I just have massive amounts of common sense. Zodiac sign Scorpio. I take no prisoners. Yeah. Actually, I'm quite a kind person. See the frost on the roof? Healthy living book. My entire website and vlogs are all healthy living. Would I be writing a healthy living book? I don't know. I haven't really thought about it, Sean. But I mean, I can tell everyone how I live, and I live fairly healthily. As I just said, I don't have anything to do with the with dead things, you know, or things that belong to others. So the way I see it is that, you know, cow's milk belong to calves, and meat is dead flesh. I try to eat wherever I can, you know, living, healthy, natural foods. How's Jack? Jack's actually quite well now. He had a wee bit of a cough there just for a moment, but he's really doing well. If you can stand still for long enough, I'll show you. Oh, come on, you're not going back in. Do you know, honestly, he's such... I'll have to go in and then go out the back door. Let me just bear with me. I don't want the... No, I'll come out this way. Come back out, Jack. I'm just aware of the reception, you know, the internet reception. Younger years. What do you mean younger years? I'm only 64. I'll tell you about that when I'm 84. Jack's doing very well. He's made an almost full recovery. No bears. An almost full recovery. You're not going back in, Jack. He wants just to get back into the cottage. He says it's too cold out here. Now, a few of you were asking me about the tunnel and saying, oh, we haven't seen the tunnel in ages. So I'm gonna take you over to the tunnel. Now there's a wee bit of frost over here because this is a wee bit more open. Sorry, I'm just having to change hands now a wee bit on this. There we go. If I can get my coffee cup now without spilling it. There we go. Ah. Yeah. Beautiful over here this morning. You can see the frost down there. And a little bit of frost here on the Hypericum. Oh, we do have wild animals. There's badgers and foxes and, you know. There's Jack. And there's a wee bit of frost on the Russian kale there. Kissed by winter. Yes, and of course Samhain is the first month of winter. So let's have a wee look in here. Now, you can see there's frost on the plastic on the tunnel outside, so it's a wee bit dimmer in here than usual. There's still quite a lot of feverfew blooming and calendula and fennel, still quite a lot of fennel, and a little flower that I don't know the name of. I think it's some kind of a little lily. Both doors in the tunnel are open, of course. I haven't closed them yet. And the grapes, well, I left the grapes this year to the birds, and you can see they're still eating them. So that was a nice treat for them. I've got to get in here and do a lot of cutting back. So I haven't really spent that long in here this year. I've been that busy working on all different kinds of projects. I've left the tunnel to look after itself, and it's done quite a good job, really. And you can see down there, there's some red sorrel coming up just on its own. Some seeds that have dropped. And then there's lots and lots of, let me see now, I think they're foxgloves actually, coming up down there. Quite a lot of them, look. Yes, I have a bay tree, a peach tree and a nectarine tree in the tunnel. And quite a nice honeysuckle. It's a castor oil plant that my eldest daughter gave me. She said, "Oh, Mum, that's the wrong place to put it." And I said, "Well, we'll just leave it there and see how it goes." So we'll see how it goes. Look at the clear sky up there. And there's the sun just reaching the top of the larch tree. Now what I'll do is I'll take you up to the stone circle now. I say up because wherever you walk in this land, unless you're walking down the driveway, if you're walking in the opposite direction, it's all uphill. Jack, come on. So these are all the lovely pine needles from the larch, very orangey, because of course the larch is a conifer tree that loses its pine needles in the winter. So it's a rather beautiful tree to grow. Come on, Jack. This is the cotoneaster that I planted in here I think it was the beginning of this year. And that's grown immensely. I mean, it's just incredible how much that's grown. Come on, Jack, we'll go up this way. Now, I hope the picture's still holding good. I've tried to stay away from the back of the cottage because that's where the signal is the weakest. This beech tree is growing beautifully here. Hi, Sean. And you can see the little bit of frost now on the field behind my land. But look at these beautiful colours. These are all leaves from the lime trees. And there's my beautiful oak, my teenage oak. And there's the wee robin come down on top. Look, see? There we go. Good morning, Robin. Someone told me that you're a Mr. Robin. That the little robin guys stay behind during the winter and guard the territory for the females. And of course that's my old hen house there, because I used to keep hens. The first, let me see now, because I was vegetarian when I decided to do something about my diet. I think up until about 6 or 7 years ago, something like that, I kept hens. I must say I loved keeping hens. I mean, I'd love to keep them as pets because they're gorgeous. I just love them. So full of personality. There's some florets beginning to develop on the Mahonia. Yeah, it would, wouldn't it? So this is a view you rarely get to see. There's the back of the cottage. And these are the lime trees that I planted along the ditch. This is one of the little ditches that was constructed in year 1 to carry all the water away. Still a few leaves up there. They're just dropping slowly. This is the little hedge I planted along the ditch. Because this is very important. If you actually dig out a ditch to carry water away, you should plant either side of it to secure the banks. Because the roots of the trees and the shrubs and the plants secure the banks. I see a lot of farmers digging out ditches here in Ireland and they don't put anything in alongside them. So then the banks begin to fall in. Look at these beautiful leaves here. Now these are leaves from the beautiful sycamore. Look at this. Isn't that gorgeous? I just let them fall onto the gravel and then just pull out the little plants. So here's my stone circle. So I do need to get up and give the little, to give the grass in the middle a little cut. But I will show you. So there's the little oak tree in the middle. But this is what I'm very happy about here. I was up here yesterday having a wee look. Let me just put this up. It needs to find its way through there. Okay. I planted 2 clematis again at the beginning of the year. Do you remember the video where I showed you I'd planted the clematis? One on this side of the stone circle, and as you can see now, look, it's beginning to romp away. And the other one, just over there, you can see the greenness coming up through the willow. The plan is that the clematis will just move along the willow arches and meet up. See? That's the other one there. You can just see the green. It's a little oak tree. That's gone a beautiful colour. The leaves are gorgeous. And there's the little robin. He just follows me around. There he is. Look on the tree. There he is. Are you going to sing for us? Are you going to sing for us? Come on then. Sing a little. Oh, there you go. How lovely. Are you going? Where's he gone now? There he is on the stone. You're singing. Come on then. Jack's running up and down by the tunnel. Good morning, Jane. Yeah, you can just see the beautiful colours now. These sort of deep orangey brown of the oak and the vibrant yellow, sort of orangey yellow of the sycamore. And I have noticed as well, because I've been watching my trees, you know how they grow and which is the happiest and so on. The sycamores love this land and they seem to grow with gay abandon. They just love to grow. And the oaks love the land. And the sweet chestnut, which is this one here, love the land. Sadly, we're losing a lot of the ash trees, but as I've planted a very wide variety of trees, I'm not too worried about the ash at this point. I'm sure a recovery will take place, but it could be a lot of years down the line. Now you see the land up there. I've been making inquiries over the past little bit of time into buying another 2 acres of land. This is what I'm using the money for that I accumulate. I don't accumulate a lot, but what I do manage to save, I'm going to plough those savings into buying some more land. And 2 acres. If I can get it, I will. Yeah, well, you see, Rob, I'm at my happiest when I'm out on the land working, and I often look with envy at bare fields around me, and I would just love to cut through the fence, go in there and plant more trees. And I know I would do an even better job than what I've done already, because I've been formulating little pictures in my head for a long time. So anyway, that's what I'm hoping to do. And well, if it's meant to happen, well, you see, I used to believe in all of that, but I don't now. My attitude is, you've got to really work towards what it is you want. And if it doesn't happen, then you've got to work a bit harder, you see. I have that, what my father used to call the fighting spirit. Well, yes, I have. Fantastic, Rhiannon. One of these days I'm going to do some kind of a survey, and I'm going to ask everyone who has been inspired by Bealtaine Cottage to tell me, if they have land of course, how many trees they've planted through that inspiration. Look at that oak tree now, look at that oak tree. That's incredible. That oak tree, which is now massive, by the way. I mean, it must be 20 to 25 feet high. And look at the width on it. Oh, I could work a lot harder, Anne. There's always space for working harder, you know. I'm not a person who finds joy sitting on one's derriere. And if I get a notion in my head to say, you know, get out there and plant X, Y, or Z, I just go for it. I don't sit chewing the cud. Jack, he keeps peeping at me from the other side of pathways. I mean, planting the land is the most sacred thing we can do. There's the frost on the roof. 2 extra acres. Yes, paradise regained. There's the willow there losing its leaves. So we're going to have a lovely shock of bright yellow and green stems. And this bay tree has gone AWOL. Crazy stuff. But that's the nasturtium settled out now, look, see? I said it would keep going until the first frost. So of course the first frost should be the time when all those busy little bees have settled into their hibernation for the winter. There's a jet up there. It's very high up. It must be going to either Canada or America. the way it goes. The colours are wonderful. There's a cow in the distance. Yeah, I mean, just look at that. And you know something? This little phone camera isn't even picking up 50% of the vibrancy and the colour and the shape and the form. Seriously, it's far more dramatic than what I'm seeing here on the screen. The cordyline. Well, let me tell you something about plants, you see. The cordyline survives all the time that its roots are alive. If you have a very severe winter and you have a ground frost that goes down deep, 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 if it goes down deep enough, it will kill the roots of the plant and the plant will die. Here in the west of Ireland, we have the Gulf Stream, and the Gulf Stream ensures that the land in the west of Ireland is kept relatively frost-free. Now, it will have frost, it will have ground frost, but it won't have deep ground frost. So the cordylines survive. Now, the cordylines at the back of the cottage have an even better chance of surviving because there's a certain amount of heat comes out of the old stone building. Don't forget that the cottage is made of stone. It only has the most rudimentary foundations. It doesn't even have a damp-proof course in it, all right? So it leaks as much heat as is in it. But that's fine. It also means that the air is very breathable in there because it's not sealed. I don't think I could live in a sealed house. I have to have a few little drafts coming in somewhere. I know that sounds ridiculous, but that's just how I think. Oh, look. Now, this is interesting. You see the little shaggy ink cap? Now, they've spread right up to this part of the bank now. Because, of course, the shaggy ink cap started coming up over there where Jack is, and now they're spreading all the way along this north bank. There's some more. Can you see the little white bits poking out there? So I'm just walking round now what's called on the map the north bank of the cottage. Oh, good morning, Mr. Crow. There he goes. He always shouts at me. When he sees me in the garden, he shouts at me. There's another little shaggy ink cap down there. There's quite a few all the way through. Look, and there's more coming up. Remember I showed you some the other day? Well, some of them have gone into decay mode, and now there's new ones coming up. I haven't picked any over the past couple of days. Now you can see the frost now. Yes, shaggy ink cap are edible. They are absolutely delicious, but you must pick them on the day that they come up through the soil. So you must pick them when they're nice and firm before they start to go shaggy. And you just simply take them in and chop them up into little bits, and fry them in a little bit of olive oil with garlic, chopped up garlic, and serve them on some wholemeal toast. And it'll be one of the most delicious and simple and nourishing meals you'll ever taste. Absolutely gorgeous. So you see, the shaggy ink-cap mushrooms would never have grown here when this was all just rushy land. But as soon as the trees started to grow, because all these trees were planted as just little tiny things, as soon as they started to grow and drop leaves, the shaggy ink-cap started to come up. So I've enjoyed this bounty, this lovely harvest for the past 12 or 13 years now. But each year there's more abundance of them. So I'm going to say blessings to you all at this point now, because this is going up towards 50 minutes. So I'm going to go into the cottage and make myself a pot of tea. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that Derbyshire is flooded. But blessings to you all. I don't think we're confusing anything here, all right? I'm very well aware of the differences. So no confusion, no fear, all right? I do know what I'm talking about because I eat them and I'm still here. So blessings to you all.